Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat. So I stole my friend Nancy's idea. Sorry Nancy, but these are too cool. So this is not my idea. This is Nancy Pyter's idea to make these envelope pages where you glue envelopes together and then you have all sorts of ways to add pockets into them. I just thought it'd be really fun for a journal. You know, you could sew it right into the signature and then decorate it up and do all that. Sorry, I have blue on my hands from my printer and I can't get it off. So I've tried rubbing alcohol and everything, but anyhow, so I will show you really quick how many pockets I have and kind of the idea that I'm going to go for. And then I'll put one together, even though I really encourage you to go check out Nancy's Spellbound envelope collage pages if you haven't seen it. It was a while back, so you may have already seen it, but just in case, please go check out her YouTube channel. So anyway, you can see here's a pocket and an envelope that's glued down to other envelopes, and you kind of want envelopes of all different sizes, like some skinny, maybe some wider. You know, you could probably do it with all the same size envelope, but I just think you're going to get better results if you have different sizes, because you can cut them obviously to different sizes. So this one could be a good cover because you could decorate the front, because there's not a whole lot going on this part right here. Then when I open it, what I would do is cover this all up, and we'll probably do this collage or whatever you want to do. Cover this up so you're not going to see these tags like this. And I of course would have maybe smaller tags or whatever to go in these pockets, because they're kind of short. They're more like a little tuck. But once you cover other paper over it, like if I put this piece of paper right here, there, like that, then I would have my little pocket, but it would be bigger. And then if I had a shorter tag, it would look a little bit better. It's just, I wanted you to see where all there are things. So anyway, and then I would do the same thing here. I would put another piece of paper. So this one's, so you're not seeing all that, although you could leave it like that. And these are perforated right here. So I may just take and tear off the perforation and use it for something else and have little shorter tags. Haven't really thought about the tags. But this is another envelope that I cut, which I know is kind of odd because it's already a whole envelope, but that's the problem. It would have just been one whole, like, see where this guest check is going? It would have gone in all the way down, which that's fine if you want to just plunk down, like this envelope smaller, but plunk the envelope down like that and just have it as a whole big pocket. You can do that. I decided to cut the bottom off of it so that I have, and flip it over so that I have a bottom here and then the top there. So essentially what I did, because I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, is I cut this piece off and put it there. And then this piece that was left over, I flipped over so that it's the opening's up there. And I left the side open, so I just glued here, here, and here. And now this side over here is opened. This one's completely closed behind. It just has the, you know, the one opening right there. Like that. And then, you know, of course you have this one up here. Okay, and then I turn it this way, and I already showed you this pocket. But I have another envelope. I'll open it like this so you can see better. So here's a long envelope, and I have a tag in there, but it's going to stop at the fold, especially if you stitch it into your journal. Or if you want to do these as a folio, you could just glue or stitch down the center so that, unless you wanted it, but I wouldn't think you want it to go through there because it folds, right? So it'll stop there. And then at the top where it hooks to this other big envelope, this was a big one, like kind of like this big one here. There's a little bit of space here for just a tuck. And that I would leave like that because that holds those just fine, doesn't need anything else. But at the top we have another big pocket. And obviously I wouldn't leave that hanging out like that. I just found things around that I could stick into these pockets so that you can see how many pockets there are. So that's a lot of pockets for, I used 1, 2, 3, 4 envelopes. 4 envelopes gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pockets. So I mean, that's some pretty good real estate. And then you could easily pop it into a journal, stitch other pages in there, and you have all this space. So like I said, check out Nancy's channel, but I'm going to show you really quick how I did mine, because I didn't use as many envelopes as she did, but her Spellbound journal was bigger than what I would most likely use it for. So I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. It doesn't have to be cardstock. It can be printer paper. It just gives me the space that I'm using, right? Because I usually do 9 high by 6 journals, but they're actually 12 because they're folded in half, right? But they're 9 high by 6. So yeah. So the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper fits in there. If you're in the UK or somewhere, you'll use your whatever your standard size piece of paper is. You're just going to lay it out kind of like a puzzle. And I went ahead and glued all my flaps, if there were flaps, closed. And this is just, I don't even remember what this envelope was. Most of it's junk mail of some sort. So I did like that. And then I put it down, and I haven't decided yet where I want the opening to be. So I'm just kind of laying it out. I'm not going to glue any of these together yet because I don't know how exactly I'm going to do this. But like this sort of thing, this one I think is open at the top. So I'll probably just keep it. Actually, I'll probably have to cut this one off a little. I just thought of that after I put the glue on it, but it's okay. Because it's going to be too tall. Because I think what I want, but I want to keep that window. Words. So what I might do when I collage this one, or whatever I decide to cover it with, I'll go around that edge. So I'll just trim it up and then cut it shorter. Or we can have the window at the top too. So I just want to trim this so that it's looks nicer. But it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want to, you know, get too close to the window there. And you might want to think about, I'm just going to show you guys how to do this, but if you're doing one of these, you might want to like cover all this stuff first before you close them all up and do all that. Because obviously, as you know, it's really hard to get anything down inside of there. So I'm going to use my pencil, and I want this envelope here. So I'm holding all the things as straight as possible. That one doesn't really matter at the moment. And then I'm going to mark where I want to cut this envelope. And I'll cut it. And you can close up any of the openings by, like I said, folding it over, whatever. In fact, you know what I might do with this one? I'm just going to trim a little off right now, because I know I want that to be the bottom. And I don't really want anything tucking up from the bottom. But you could. It's just this is going to be the very bottom. So that's not a great idea. Maybe I'll fold it at that mark. And we'll just close it up right now. And then I won't have to worry about wrapping anything around any corners or any of that kind of hoo-ha. So how are you guys? I didn't even ask you that. I'm doing pretty good. So I just jumped right in because I'm excited about these. This is such a great idea, Nancy. It just took me a while to get around to doing this. So you know how it goes. Life is crazy. So many ideas, so little time, all those kind of things. I need to say hugs and blessings to Tracy, Black Coffee and Wildflowers, Linda, and Carol. Thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube channel. I have several Carols, several Dianes, several Lindas. So I'm trying to, you know, say thank you to all of you. And welcome to new subscribers, and welcome back to those of you that have been with me for a short time or a long time. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so we'll just do like that, and then I'll glue that closed, and that'll be my, you know, I think I'll do is cut those as we do, so they don't show on the other side. So that'll get glued down. I'm going to just make sure this is right. I can always trim just a skosh off the top again if I need to. The other thing is envelopes are not perfectly square, just FYI. So sometimes when you're trying to get your page square, it's, you know, a little bit of a pain, but it doesn't have to be like so perfect. You just want it roughly the size of whatever size your pages are that go in your journal, because otherwise, you know, it's not going to work. But it's not like you have to make yourself crazy trying to make sure it doesn't, you know, is the right size or whatever. So I think I'll go something like that. I'm going to do it pretty similar to what I already did, because that'll just make it a little easier. And then I think I'll have this one this away. So it's different. It's different, I guess, huh? And you also have to think about it's going to fold somewhere, right, in the middle. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of real thick bits in the middle, or maybe you don't want like just the littlest edge hanging over of your envelope, because you know how that gets when you fold it. It doesn't always go around easily. So think about your center too. Like, I don't think it's bad to have a little overlap, but just don't get crazy right there in the middle where you're going to fold it, because it won't work. It'll just be a big fat mess. So I'm going to glue those together like that, and then we're going to add another one on the other side, but I don't, you know, I can't flip it over right now. Okay, so I need to figure out where I want this one to open, and because it's so big, yeah, I'm going to have to, this is another thing to think about. This envelope's going to get folded, so you're not going to want a card that's as big as that area, right? So let me figure out where it's going to get folded. So we want to mark at 5.5, just so we know where our center line is. That way I can take this envelope up here and say its fold line is going to be right here, right? So I'm just going to fold it right now so that I remember, because that's going to affect how we glue it, how we cut it, and all those kind of things. Because you're going to have separate pockets. It's not going to be just one big, huge pocket, right? So it's going to be like that. So this is a pocket and this is a pocket, is sort of how I'm thinking. So do I want maybe a side one? And then over here I could do a top one, but this one's going to be a top one. You just got to play with it and think about it a little bit. You don't like make yourself crazy, but you do need to think it over. Like, don't just go crazy and just glue envelopes together. I mean, I guess you can. You just might not totally get what you want. Okay, so this is one of those things. If I glue this one on and I leave this as a pocket and it's in a journal, it's going to be really hard to get whatever's in there out because it's going to hit where it's stitched in, right? So that's not the greatest idea. You probably want these to go on this side if you're going to put something back behind that, right? So that's another thing to think about. I know, it's a lot to think about. Okay, that one I'm going to glue. But they're so cool. So they're worth it. So just get those old envelopes out and play with them. It's not, if it ends up messed up, throw it in the trash. Who cares? It's not the end of the world. See, this I could put on top and have a little tuck this way. So I think I'll do that. This will be my bottom one. This one will go on next. So let's get, what I did last time was I just clipped it just so it's not moving around on there. Oh, I need to cut it first. So I'm going to cut down this side. Just the tiniest sliver. Okay. And then I'm going to cut across the top of that just to where it's folded. I know that probably just changed my, how far it goes over. I just want to go to the fold. A little bit more. Okay, so that opens there and over here. Because otherwise it would be like a big tube. Okay, so I'll put this one on. About there. It's close enough. It was such a small amount. And then we're going to clip it so it's not wiggling all over the place. Messing us up. And we're going to put this one on. And like I said, I would probably cover that in there normally, but for my video, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to seal up this side because I don't want a tuck right there. It's too close to my spine. So I'll leave this side open. So I'm going to put glue here, which is across the top. And you do have to take a bone folder every so often and open it. Figure out, you know, you do end up gluing things a little bit here and there. And then I think I'll just go across the bottom. We could actually have most of this be a pocket. This needs to be glued a little better though. Otherwise it will be catching everything and driving us crazy. Okay, so that's going to get glued there. And I'm not worried about the envelope as far as I know it's kind of frazzly at the top. There's ink and there's other paper that can fix that, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so that whole side's glued. Oh, you know what? I'm such a dingling because I'm not going to leave this piece of paper back here. Glad I thought about that. Yeah, that piece isn't going to stay there. I wasn't thinking. So I need to glue right here on this envelope instead. See, it's just a play with it and figure out what you got. So now I have this as a pocket. Okay. Top's glued. It's glued right here. So it's glued here, here, and here. Sorry, that made it confusing. And then this one will get glued here. I think I might, on this one, instead of having that tuck spot, because I don't have a whole lot to glue it to. I guess I can glue it just there, across here, and across here. Yeah, that'll work. Well, not all the way across there, just over here. So we're just going to put glue here. And right here from the fold over. Oh, I didn't need to do that. Low. We'll put it on. Needs to go up higher. Sorry. It is tricky. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit tricky. How far over does it go? About here. Okay, so that's glued there, and then we can glue it along this line. And you can see already my envelope are not square. Oh, except we need it across this bottom too to make the tuck. So bottom here. You know, you think you have this all in your head, but just take your time and think it through. And don't use art glitter glue. Use like a PVA or something that you can move for a minute, and it's not going to be the end of the world, okay? Because it will stick too hard, that art glitter glue, too fast, and you won't be able to move anything, and you'll just be stuck and have a scrap piece of paper. So now I do have a tuck back here that I can use. I have a tuck up at the top, and you gotta let it dry. There's a little tuck back there, but I want to use this side of it. So when I cover it with other papers, some things will get closed up, but that's fine. I'm going to turn this over to the other side. And I might be doing this a tiny bit different than Nancy, just because, you know, I watched her video a while ago and I don't totally remember. I mean, I got the concept and then you just kind of do your own thing, right? So on this side, I'm not worried about, I know this whole thing's going to fold like right here. In fact, let's just fold it. So you can kind of get an idea what we're talking about here. So it is a little thick right here, but I think it'll be okay if it's, you're obviously not going to want like 10 of these in a journal. I'm thinking like 1 in a journal or something. Or if you're going to make a folio, you could put like 2 together, something like that. But it's just not conducive to doing a bunch. I think I'm going to glue this shut right here. And you do get weird foldy spots, so if you use a bone folder, you'll probably have better luck. I'm just going to let that dry. So this envelope doesn't fit, like it's sticking out, right? But we can cut it off and not worry about that. And then we can use that piece somewhere else if we want. So we should probably mark first, right? It doesn't need to be right in the fold because, again, that's just going to add bulk. So move it away like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or whatever from the fold. And then mark where you're going to cut. This whole thing you do kind of have to mark. You can't just really wing it unless you just want, you're not worried about sizing. But I kind of do want a little bit of accuracy with that. So I am marking all of that. So that piece is going to go there. Okay, I have enough room. And it'll be a side tuck. But I also have this. So I can, you know, the first piece can go in that pocket. The other one can go behind it. Let's close this. I forgot to do that. It's a little puzzly, but very fun. And you can just like use up some envelopes, because if you're like me, you got a slew. And then you can like take this little piece and just put it somewhere, and it's a little tuck pocket, or you can toss it. It's up to you. Whatever. I think I'll just have it over here as a little, I'm just going to have it as a singular pocket, not a multi-pocket. So this one I'm going to leave so you can put something in the top. So I just want to glue on the back here 3 sides. And if you, again, if you're making this at home, not doing videos, you can do all your thumb notches and do all that stuff. You could even collage them first and then put them together. I know there's things I want to cover, so I'm not going to do it that way, but you could. It's a hot one today. Whew. My Glowforge is not working, so I'm using a little laser. So my husband and I were standing out in the garage using the little one. And it's toasty. Toasty, toasty. That's okay. It's better than cold. Oh, I can't believe I glued that closed. It doesn't really matter. It wouldn't necessarily have to be the whole pocket, but let's see if we can get it open. Open, open, open. So I think I'll just put it here. Wondering if I might want to wait, because I may want to cover all that first and then put that there. So I think I will do that. So I'm just going to kind of do like that for now. You guys get the idea, though. You're just putting envelopes together, and then when you cover it, you can make different spots. Like this can be a tuck spot. This is going to be a tuck spot from the front. So actually, do I just want to close that? How? Yeah, I think I'm just going to close this. Like that. So you'll have a pocket behind, pocket on the side. This one's not going to have as many pockets as the last one, but that's okay. Oh yeah, this is a side pocket too. So I may put, you know, my pockets that I have, the images that look like pockets that are pockets, put one of those on there. Something like this one isn't, this is an envelope, but it would work too. This will go down here. This could go on here, and you could tuck something else behind it. So you can do stuff like that too. Add some pockets as well. So that's a pocket. On this other side, we have, not that one. There's a pocket. This is a pocket. The big envelope, window envelope, that's a pocket. There's a pocket, or a tuck shelf, kind of like the other one, a tuck spot there. And then this one has, oh, on this side it has the pocket at the top. So there's a pocket there, a pocket here, a pocket there, a shelf, and that side one that we already looked at. Okay, and again, you could add another pocket up there, whatever you wanted. You can go crazy with those. So I want to cover, I think I'll cover this one. I'll keep this one as maybe a sample, you know. So I have a whole stack of scraps and things that we'll use. How long have I been jabbering at you? Okay, not too bad. 23. So I just have old neutrally type papers is what I decided, because I thought that'll make it easier. I can use it for a lot of things, I feel like, if I do it that way. So I think on here, I may just use this scrapbook paper because it's a tiny bit thicker than a lot of my printouts, and do that sort of thing. But I am going to cover the back too, because this is going to be sliding in and out here. So I need to cover that with something. And what? I don't know. I use a piece of this manila drawing paper, and we'll just plug away at it and get as far as we can. I mean, I'm sure that you guys get it now, because you could do this a million ways. So just have fun with it, I feel like. And I don't have to get super special about these. Just, you know, strengthening my edge is all I'm really wanting right there. Oh, nice. He was hiding. Very nice. And we'll ink it. Now we just have to remember where we're gluing and where we're not. Oh, another thing I want to do is ink this. We're going to kind of do that as we go, I think. Just so if there's any white spots, you don't see the white. You could also do this with coffee dyed envelopes, and then that way you wouldn't even have to cover very much. You could just decorate them up kind of and cover parts if you wanted parts covered, kind of like I'm doing for this. But you wouldn't have to do any if you didn't want to. I think I'm going to try to leave the center just inked, because I don't want to add any more to the center than necessary. I mean, there may be a little, or I'll use a thin paper or something like that across there, just to try to keep the bulk down as much as possible. If you know what I'm saying. This is some scrapbook paper I've had for ages. I think I got it at Joann's. I did hear the other day, I have no idea if this is true or not. I don't even remember where I heard it. Somewhere on YouTube. So that doesn't mean it's true. But that Michael's is going to buy Joann's. And I'm not sure why they would have to do that. Just so they could sell fabric, when I feel like they could just sell fabric anyway. Anyways, that's what I heard. I think I'm going to use my liquid glue, because I know if I use my glue stick, I'll glue the entire thing, and then that does absolutely no good. So we need, oh my goodness, come on now. Difficult. Glue. So what we want to do is cover this, but leave our pocket open. We don't want to forget about our pocket. And I need to figure out where this goes to exactly. We'll just do the edges of this. Now you're being shy after dripping big old blot right on my... It's going to be one of those days, y'all. The fun kind of day. And I kind of want to make sure I have a good so it's not catching on that lip. Seriously. Hopefully, anyway. But yeah, I would highly recommend a glue that isn't like wham and it's stuck forever. Oops. I'll just cover that up. Because it won't work if you do that. You'll be sad. There's too many problem areas, I feel like, if you do that. Let's get the metal ruler. Because we want that to stay open as much as possible. Okay, that'll work. And then a lot of the other pieces I can glue down entirely. So this one is here still. So we need to put something that'll jump over that too. Maybe I want something a little thick. I might have to use some of this kind of thing. I can always add a piece of paper to the back. These are from my embroidered digital scraps I have. Most of them are pretty neutral. To this edge too. You know what I could do is fold that edge over. I just know I won't fold it straight, but that's okay. We'll do the best we can here. And I'll glue that. Yeah, that will work well. Sorry, I got glue all over my fingers now. I don't think we're going to get this whole thing done, but we'll revisit it. I just wanted to, it was more the building it kind of thing is what I wanted you to see today. So I hope that made sense. And if not, like I said, go watch Nancy's video. And hopefully between both of us, or if you have questions, of course you can always ask, but between both of us, hopefully we'll be able to answer whatever the question is. I think I'll use the littler one. So I want along this spot, along the sides, and then not sure how far back. Probably about to like there. Get this a little too, that way. Hopefully it'll hit all the marks, right? It overlaps that a little bit. Hopefully this one's good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This one. Sorry, I want to make sure that it doesn't close up that. So this one, I can do a bigger tag for. I just want, you know, the idea there. This one, it's looking good so far. So I said I was going to leave that, huh? I think we'll tear this more. I'm roasting. Roasting. It's going to be real toasty today. Because we haven't even got to the hot part of the day yet. Yeah, I think I'm going to just do that because I just don't want extra bulk with already having like some doubled envelopes and things. And I don't know yet what I'll use this for, but I feel like if it's neutral, it would look good in, you know, like vintage journal or a lot of things. And it may not get used for a while, but I had to make one because it just looked fun. I want to kind of figure it out before I go too crazy. Great idea, Nancy. I've never seen anybody do this, so that's just a really cool, fun idea. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, I thought that was a longer strip. It's a longer piece, so maybe we'll use a piece of dictionary page because it is very thin. I need it super wide. Man, 40 minutes already. That went fast. Cool thing is you can use the words as, you know, tear lines. I'm just going to kind of, I don't want the even edge. I like the uneven edge. I don't do a ton of collage, but it is very relaxing and nice. This one I don't have to worry, it's all getting glued. So I think if you just take a little time, play around with the envelopes, I think you can do something fun. Okay, so this one, let's get maybe behind here with whatever we can do. Tear up this a little. See, so this is why I say if you're doing this at home, you can, you know, like cover this larger envelope first before you put these on or something like that, just so that you're not having the problem that I'm having right now, where I'm having to go around things and all that, so that I don't cover up a pocket. So before you add on any extra envelopes, cover the underneath. I mean, you don't have to cover the center, but... And if you use this thinner paper like dictionary paper, you can kind of shove it here and there and show it its boss, right? Because it's not so thick that it causes a problem. And if it glues the pocket a tiny bit on the edge, that's, you know, that's not a big thing to worry about. Oopsie. You need to stay there though. And there might be some hanging over. Not too bad. I didn't do too bad. Just a little. I do highly recommend, though, having that, you know, how I had the piece of paper down ahead of time. I really recommend that. Whatever size paper you want your end result to be, put that piece of paper down, because I think that makes a huge difference. Otherwise, you're guessing, and that's, I mean, some things that doesn't matter. It's fine, because I do it all the time. But other things you might not want to do that with, so just a thought. I'm going to use a little of this gold splattered, what do you call this stuff? Newsprint. That's what it is. That's just watercolor paint. That's gold. Could even fold it over the edge into this other pocket. Oopsie, I want my guest check. Ugh, I need to glue that down. That will be a problem down the line. These would make fun happy mail too. You could send them to friends because they're, you know, you could just do one and fill it up with tags and stuff. And voila. Have all kinds of fun. If I ever get to retire, that's what I'm going to do, is more of that kind of stuff. Just have fun with it rather than worrying about, you know, how many of this I get done and all that. Because that would be fun. I don't know that I'll ever get to retire though. I mean, honestly, this job is kind of like being retired, but there are times when it's a little stressful. Or I just make it stressful. That's always possible too. Okay. I like that. Let me get my guest check that I dropped. I'll go in there. So cover this part. Definitely not high stress, just a little stress. I'll just kind of, oh yeah, we got to do that other envelope. I'm going to tear a little extra because we're going to tear the top and the side. The robins are just singing away outside. I love robins. One of my most favorite birds, other than when they gulp down my grapes in the fall. But the last couple of years, we've had so many. There's no possible way that we could eat them all. And I don't know how. I never learned how to do that. But, and you know, we share them and do all that kind of stuff. But they're too many. So I haven't minded when they're out there gulping away at the grapes. But the first few years, it was like, those are my grapes. Do you mind? And those little tiny birds, it's so nuts because they can swallow so many grapes. I'm like, how is that even, like, where do they go? Honestly, because they swallow them whole. It's crazy to watch. Like you're like this big and you're just swallowing 100 grapes is what it seems like. I know they break down, but oh. That looks like a stomach ache in the making, if you ask me. I get it. I can eat a lot of those table grapes too, but wowza. Now I just sit out there and watch them and marvel at how many they can fit inside their body. It's a lot. For the record. I know that's very scientific, but it's true. I'm just pulling it slightly because I don't want it right on the line over there. I'm going to have to do a little snip right here. So hopefully it will go in the pocket and out of the pocket. Yeah, it's astounding how many they can eat. I like that. I like it a lot. Oh, that fits pretty good. We can just put a little trim of something. This is thin paper too. Actually, I might just let that go all the way over, even though I said I didn't want to do that. This paper is so thin, I don't think it's going to hurt it. Because I do like the stamp right there. Oopsie. Well, we see that corner needs more glue. You stay down, little stinker. I got too much. Yeah, we're going to have to stop, but I'll just continue on. The next time you guys see it, it will be covered all the way, and then we can deal more with other parts of it. Or I might come back and finish it. I don't know. We'll see. What strikes me at the moment. So we still have the whole other side to do. So kind of lied. I said I wasn't going to go across that, but it's okay. We'll just try to get in here real good. Some little bits. I think there's the long one I wanted. I want to cover up. Well, a lot of that isn't very exciting, is it? Let me see. I thought I had some that had print and stuff on it. Yeah, this kind of, I can get a hold of it. This sort of thing. It's like the small version of that. That's crazy. I don't know if I want that one. You're like, lady. Sorry, I'm sorry. Trying. Thought I had more of those. Guess not. There's another piece of that somewhere. Make this a whole one, but I might have to so that I can. Sorry, I know it's running. It's because I'm roasting over here. I think I'll just go to the edge of that envelope. Like so. We don't need more going all the way across there. And this is a straight edge, so let's get... Oh, no it's not. That's one I must have torn stuff off of and didn't realize. Yeah, so if you're making stuff and you're like, I don't know what journal I'm doing next, if you stick with your neutrals, it'll work out usually, unless you do something like, I wouldn't put this in a Halloween journal or something like that, but if you're just, it'll go with a lot of things. Okay, now tags. Okay, that'll work. We're all good there. We just need a strip right there, and we're done for this day. What should we put? One of these would be kind of cool. Where's my other? Like this side. These are just remakes of the Sears and Roebuck. Someday I would love to have a real one, but then I wouldn't use it. I would just stare at it. So it's probably better to have the remakes. I wish they would remake them again is what I actually would like, because that would be excellent. But they wouldn't have this patina if they did that. I think they did this in the 60s and 70s, I believe. I could be wrong. I have the date somewhere on my book, but I don't have it just to grab at the moment. That will work. We'll do that. But we need ink over here. I'm going to have to cover that in there, I think, for it to look right. Germs. I don't know that I'll end up using all these. I just wanted it to be seen where they look, what they were, and where they go. A little bit more. Wonderful. That in there. I'll put this one back over here just so we remember that there's a pocket there. All right, guys, that is what I have for today, but we will continue on. I just think these would be really cool to put in a journal, just like maybe at the beginning of a one signature journal. I would not put like, or even as a center in a journal. I wouldn't do multiples because they are a little bit thick. They wouldn't be awful covers, I'm gonna say, but I would make it a tiny bit bigger if I was gonna use it as a cover. So that's something definitely to think about. They would be kind of cool covers. And please go check out Nancy, because this was her idea, not my idea. And she did such a fantastic job. And plus, she's just awesome. So, yeah, there's that as well. All my ladies, Mitzi, Linda, Carol, Nancy, fabulous. All right, guys, I will stop there, and I will see you again very soon. Oh my goodness, did I get, oh, you know why? Because it's folded, that's why. You have to be smarter than the page. All right, I hope you give it a try, and I will chat again with you soon. Love ya. Bye.